Reskilling and retooling. Reskilling is the process of learning new skills so that you can do a different job or of training people to do a different job. In this course, we will cover reskilling definition, the importance of reskilling, seismic forces driving need for reskilling, benefits of reskilling, cost-effective ways to execute retooling, retooling methods, steps to reskill using e-learning. Reskilling definition. The definition varies depending on the source, but in general, reskilling happens when you help your employees learn the skills they need for a new role within your organization. A subset of reskilling called upskilling can help prepare your people for major changes in their current roles. Reskilling means looking for people with adjacent skills that are close to the new skills your company requires. It provides a lateral learning experience. The World Economic Forum estimates that over half of all employees will require significant reskilling by 2022. A culture of upskilling, on the other hand, means teaching employees new, advanced skills to close talent gaps. It involves your team members in continuous education and helps them to advance along their current career path. These employees may have worked for your organization for several years and possess an in-depth understanding of both your culture and your customers. Importance of reskilling. Employees' current skills are losing relevance. If you have talented employees working for you, but their area of expertise is becoming less relevant, it's a bad idea to simply wait for them to become obsolete and then have to hire new staff instead. Rather, it is much better to retrain them so that you can put their talent to good use elsewhere in the company. The skills that are becoming redundant will vary depending on the industry, but as an overall trend, automation is making the natural cycle of skills becoming outdated far more rapid than it was previously. For example, certain jobs such as truck drivers and assembly line workers will soon be performed by machines, so the living workers will need to change their occupational categories and learn new skills to remain part of the workforce. Newer skills are needed for a role. The employee's current skill set might be fine, but the position itself requires new additional set of skills to address the change in the industry practices, legislation, and working methods. For example, during the COVID-19 crisis, some pharmaceutical companies had to switch from an offline model to a remote work. That's why sales reps had to learn how to connect with clients, make the product presentations, and close deals online. In the post-pandemic era, many organizations plan to maintain this model to some degree. To meet this challenge, companies need to create a talent strategy that will help them effectively reskill their sales reps. Seismic forces driving the need for reskilling. The complexity of business and work. The pace of change. Unprecedented demographic shifts. The need to compete through productivity. Changing relationship to work. The complexity of business and work. There are other strong contenders, certainly, but the complexity of modern businesses and work is a powerful and ubiquitous force with which leaders and employees must reckon on a daily basis. According to TMF Group's Global Business Complexity Index, day-to-day operations require businesses to navigate high levels of complexity to avoid regulatory penalties, comply with accounting and tax policies, and source and manage talent. The extent of this complexity varies by country, but the average worldwide grows steadily and in some areas exponentially. Complexity arises in the part from the connectedness. Indeed, its root is defined as having interrelated parts. The pace of change. A recent study found that employees impacted by change are more than twice as likely to suffer from chronic stress. They also report work-life balance conflicts, negative feelings at work, lower job satisfaction, and significantly less trust in their employees. No surprise, then, that employees experiencing change are 3 times more likely to go looking for a new job. It's worth noting how the risk to business presented by the pace of change has emerged from not even being in the top 5 to being cited as the top emerging risk during 2019. The scale of digital change is and will continue to be so disruptive, with massive implications for businesses, governments, and societies, that it warrants the label the fourth industrial revolution. What's more, all this digital transformation is generating massive amounts of data. Virtually everything and our customers, partners, and suppliers do creates a data trail that is now our job to track, parse, and report on. For many workers, these new technologies are fragmented. Change communication is inadequate. There's too much data to make sense of, and new digital distractions seem to be everywhere. When technology feels invasive, complicated, and confusing, and when it creates concern about job security, the resulting techno stress comes at a high cost to people and organizations. Unprecedented demographic shifts. Making matters worse, organizations now face tectonic demographic pressures constraining their ability to build a productive workforce. The US and many other industrialized countries have seen birth rates drop to their lowest rates in decades. And at the same time, the tidal pull of retirement is beckoning the generation that dominates senior leadership positions across industries. Around the world, the labor supply is contracting, a pattern that is only expected to accelerate as 2030 approaches, leaving a staggering labor deficit of 85 million workers. As a result, competition to hire and retain the best employees is intense to say the least. When there are fewer people to hire, the only answer to sustainable success is to make your organization and even your industry an employer of choice. It should be the one they seek out and, once hired, where they choose to remain. The need to compete through productivity. A fourth shift creating pressure on leaders in their organization is an increasing urgency to improve the efficiency and output from all sectors of the economy. As you can see from this graph, the productivity in the United States and Europe peaked in the 1950s and 1960s, but has been in decline ever since. Two factors have dragged productivity down in recent time. The first is the waiting of a boom that began in the early 1960s, driven by the information and communications technology revolution, and the second is the financial crisis in 2008, causing weak demand and uncertainty. For some time, experts have been extolling the promises of digital technologies to make companies more productive. They are, but the impact of digital transformation is hardly a fait accompli. The speed at which countries are realizing the potential is relatively low and varies enormously. The US, as an example, has only achieved 18% of its digital potential. In Europe, the United Kingdom is next with 17%, compared with France at 12%, and Germany and Italy at 10%. Changing relationship to work. Whether business leaders are prepared or not, we now have five generations in the workforce, all of whom are rethinking their relationship to their work and their employees. Older employees are delaying retirement. Mid-career workers are looking for leadership opportunities in the face of a career ceiling created by those experienced workers and their extended tenure. And the career trajectories of younger employees were interrupted by a global recession that's timed their entry into the workforce. Everyone still values compensations, rewards, and perks, but they also want meaningful work, which requires a foundational understanding of one's role in the context of the organization's raison d'etre, customers, and or communities served and goals for the future. And they want autonomy, which means the organization must trust them to make decisions about work they do. Benefits of reskilling. There are numerous benefits to be gained from reskilling a workforce, both for the company and for the employees. Of course, there is some crossover here as what the benefits the company will assist the employees and vice versa. But it's helpful to break down the advantages so that we can create a clearer picture. Reskilling can reduce the cost of filling new roles. Reskilling can help you attract new talent. Reskilling can help you retain your best talent. Reskilling can reduce the cost of filling new roles. Recruiting, interviewing, vetting, and hiring new employees is expensive and time consuming. That is even before you get on to onboarding. And even with a solid hiring process, there's always a chance that a hire might not work out. When you reskill your current employees, you avoid the cost and the long timeline of hiring and onboarding a new person. That frees your resources to help your existing people get up to speed for the next role in your company. Reskilling can help you attract new talent. A company that's dedicated to helping its employees build new skills has an advantage when it comes to recruiting. Candidates who want to feel valued at work will often seek out employers with a culture of professional growth that includes reskilling and upskilling opportunities. What's more, employees who experience the benefits of ongoing training and development are usually enthusiastic about sharing their experience with others. So, a culture of reskilling can strengthen your employer brand and bring in more candidates who are motivated to keep learning and growing. Cost effective ways to execute retooling. Some cost effective ways to execute retooling in organizations are: compile a 1 to 3 year resource plan that defines the objectives of the organization and skill sets necessary to meet those objectives. Gain acceptance from employees to approach the task of staying current in the technical skills as a partnership. The intentional process of considering the technology needs of the organization today and tomorrow will result in a gap analysis that allows management to recognize where resources skills are lacking. Establish a partnership with employees to create a career enhancement profile that close the gap between the current skills of the employees and the skills needed in the next 2 to 3 years. Revise the thinking that a budget for training is an expense, but rather an investment in the future viability of the firm. Create an approval process for training money to ensure that the training meets the resources plan's objectives. Organizations can choose to replace the resources to keep up the need for new skill sets or retool the resources they have. By choosing to retool where possible, organizations will increase the likelihood of having skills needed to meet business objectives through technology today and tomorrow. Retooling methods. There are many different employee training methods that can be used in a retooling or reskilling program. Industry courses and qualifications, mentoring or coaching, on the job training, e-learning. Industry courses and qualifications. Industry courses, qualifications, and certifications are a straightforward way to both gain and demonstrate knowledge and skills. This makes them an ideal candidate to be part of a reskilling program. For the employer, there are a number of benefits as they can be assured that their staff members are being retrained with knowledge specific to the industry and that applicable professional standards are used. For the employee, it enhances their knowledge of the industry they work in and provide a qualification that feels worthwhile and substantial. When choosing off-the-shelf or third-party industry certification courses, due diligence should be conducted to ensure the value of the certification and that it is accredited by the proper industry bodies if required. Mentoring or coaching. When you identify staff members that require reskilling, you can consider assigning a mentor or coach and building a specific targeted reskilling program. A workplace mentoring program typically involves collaboration with the employees to identify, target, and plan for better performance, or the development of a specific set of work-related skills. Increasingly, this collaboration may happen online or virtually. A coach can help define what skills the employees have and lack, and that person's strengths and weaknesses. Coaching or mentoring is especially effective in reskilling employees for a move to a different role when they can benefit from the mentor's experience. For example, a customer service rep could be retrained to become a marketing assistant with the help of a coach who has great marketing experience. On the job training. On the job training is a way that employees can learn a job by observing others performing everyday job tasks and then doing it themselves. This method is often employed when new hires get into a job role. However, it can also be used effectively as a part of an internal job move, whether that be a lateral move, a planned rotation, or a professional internship program. In practice, this means that an employee who is new to a job is matched up to an experienced colleague or a team leader. Then the trainee accompanies their co-worker to observe and learn the task completed during a typical workday. The trainee is then allowed to perform a specific job or task they have observed and learns each task incrementally. On-the-job training can be ideal for reskilling employees on new production methods, such as building different types of products on an assembly line. E-learning. E-learning has some compelling benefits beyond of the obvious ability to reskill employees remotely. It is available anytime, any place, and courses can be taken by an employee using almost any device, including personal smartphones. Online training is also quick to complete compared to instructor-led training and can be consumed over multiple sessions. So, even when things eventually revert to what we consider normal, e-learning can be a large part of your reskilling program and is well suited for delivering various types of training, including digital skills, soft skills, and business skills. Great examples of ways to perform retraining online that can add real value are software simulations that reskill employees on new software systems or financial compliance courses for reskilling service staff to take on roles as financial advisors. Steps to reskill or retool using e-learning. E-learning now is one of the most widely used and suitable formats for retraining. Here's how you can set up a reskilling program with e-learning using industry best practices. Number 1. Identify the skills or tools that should be mastered. Number 2. Prepare a training program. Number 3. Prepare training materials. Number 4. Deliver the reskilling program. And number 5. Measure and evaluate success. Reskilling offers many benefits for an organization and allows you to retain and make use of loyal employees in the best way possible. It will be an essential building block of any learning and development strategy for the new decade. So now is the time to begin thinking about how you will implement such a program for your own workforce. Reskilling means looking for people with adjacent skills that are close to the new skills your company requires. It provides a lateral learning experience. Employees' current skills are losing relevance. Newer skills are needed for a role are two important reasons for reskilling. Seismic forces driving the need to reskill the workforce are complexity of business and the work, the pace of change, unprecedented demographic shifts, the need to compete through productivity, and changing relationship to work. Three most important benefits of reskilling are reskilling can reduce the cost of filling new roles, reskilling can help you attract new talent, and reskilling can help you retain your best talent. Some cost-effective ways to execute retooling in organizations are compile a 1 to 3 year resource plan, gap analysis, career path planning, etc. There are many different employee training methods that can be used in a retooling or reskilling program. Industry courses and qualifications, mentoring or coaching, on-the-job training, e-learning. 5 steps to reskill workforce using e-learning are: identify the skills that should be mastered, prepare a training program, prepare training materials, deliver this reskilling program, measure and evaluate success. Thank you. KloudLearn Incorporated is headquartered in Silicon Valley, California. Our mission is to help enterprises provide an engaging and impactful learning experience that improves business performance. We provide the industry's most modern LMS, learning management system. For more information, visit us at www.cloudlearn.com or reach out to us at info@cloudlearn.com.